Some breaking news on the front page of The Sun to bring you now, though. It reveals tonight that a stained glove was found on the riverbank close to where missing mum of two, Nicola Bulley, vanished. Police have been examining the glove since it was handed in to them by two members of the public. The 45-year-old disappeared nearly 3 weeks ago while walking her dog along the River Wyre in Lancashire. Well, police have continued to insist that Nicola fell into the water, but her family believes that she may have come to harm. Talk TV's Oliver Whitfield-Miocic is in St Michael's on Wyre in Lancashire for us tonight. Good evening, Ollie. What can you tell us about this new piece of evidence?
Yes, well, the Sun reporting this evening that two walkers a week ago stumbled across this navy glove which was stained. They've then handed that over to the police, who were seen walking away with it, and it was bagged up. We know that the police a week ago were looking at 500 active lines of inquiry. That is CCTV footage, any information that they've gleaned from people calling up and emailing their hotlines, but also includes looking at physical evidence like this, all as the search continues and the investigation goes deeper into the mysterious disappearance of mum of two, Nicola Bulley.
The public have already been warned, Ollie, not to travel to the village, and yet it seems that some of them are still not listening.
Yeah, that's definitely right, Kate. We've seen people all day today, half term where we are at the moment, and we've seen people coming here with their children. We've seen people coming from quite far away. One person we spoke to earlier on had come from Newcastle upon Tyne, and this wasn't the first time that she'd been here. She'd been here twice in the space of a week. It's something which is really upsetting the locals here, the local council, saying that people just want to get back to some sense of normalcy and not have St Michael's on Wyre as some sort of macabre tourist hotspot. I've been catching up with some of the people who live here, and they're saying not only those grievances about people turning up for day trips to go and take pictures near that bench, but also about the concerns that they've got about their safety.
Even if my children weren't in the equation, just me walking out with the dogs, I think I'd be quite wary now. And because of where the bench is down there, the way it all happened, supposedly, where she just disappeared off this bench, if you've got your back turned, it makes you very, very wary.
Scared, to be honest, yeah. Makes you think, like me personally, I am a dog walker as well. I do dog sitting and pet sitting and dog walks and stuff, and it's scary because it's like you think, oh, you can't even take your dog for a walk, you know, like without something happening, or you just don't expect it.
It's really touched me, this, a lot. I think a lot of women my age, and also because she's called Nikki, isn't she? I think her age could sort of, you know, sort of sympathise like with the family and, you know, her children especially. I can't imagine what they're going through.
Kate, the authorities are taking the issue of people coming here, especially those who are filming for social media sites such as TikTok, increasingly seriously. We can reveal tonight that one of those TikTok users was arrested on Friday. In the video footage here, you can see Dan Duffy, who was on that, one of the people who's come here as part of filming for TikTok, and so he was arrested. He was issued a £90 fine. We've also heard today that there were two other people arrested as part of the investigation into local district councillors receiving hate mail and vitriolic calls to their mobile phones. The police say there is no space for anybody getting abuse as this investigation continues.
Ollie, thanks for taking us through that, and Oliver Whitfield-Miocic there all week for the latest on that story. Well, let's take a look at one more front page that has reached us here. Among speculation about UFOs, the Daily Star's front page also has that story about council workers in Margate dismantling a new Banksy artwork on the grounds of health and safety. Well, that's what's in with us for now. Our nightly panel, though, are with us shortly to go through those. So let's get their thoughts, shall we? With me on this Valentine's night is the Observer leader, chief leader writer Sonia Soda, and the broadcaster and former Conservative MP Matthew Parris. Thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us.
Sad people, aren't we, here on...
No, not at all. I'm delighted, sad people. That makes all of us sad then, doesn't it? I suppose let's just kick off thinking about that story, the Nicola Bulley story, because it has been dominating the headlines for a couple of weeks now. Ollie there reporting, you know, some movements in this case, but also some suggestions that the police were maybe a little bit too quick, Sonia, to jump to the conclusion or to suggest so clearly that she had fallen into the water. Where do you think things go from here?
Well, I think it's really tricky because I think normally with a case like this, there would be more indications at this stage about what's happened to, you know, a mum and a partner who's been missing for 3 weeks. And we haven't been getting those indications. It does suggest that maybe the police were too quick to sort of put out the idea that she may have fallen in the river. And obviously the tricky thing about that, the difficult thing about that, is they need people to be coming forward with information. And if you suggest too strongly that one thing may have happened, ruling out other possibilities, that may put off people coming forward because they might think, oh, well, I'm just being silly. You know, the police think she fell into the river and no body has been found, which you would expect it to have been found if that had happened. So, I mean, it's clearly just such a tragic case. It's very hard for us to commentate on in some ways because we just don't know. But I think it is, you know, I think there are questions to be asked about why the police pushed this narrative about her falling in the river when no body has yet been found. And I think we've just got to hope. We've seen her husband make appeal after appeal for people to come forward. So that's obviously a very effective way of asking for information.
You say we just don't know. Indeed, we don't. And the police just don't know. And it was simply plumb stupid for them to say that they thought she must have fallen into the river. They hadn't found a body. She might have fallen into the river, but to suggest that they had reached that conclusion so early will put in people's minds the thought that they won't now seriously be looking for any other explanation. When they said that, I should think about 30 million people in Britain said, what? Are they so sure so early?
Yeah, and Sonia, you know, this comes, doesn't it, at a time when people are starting to question the police, not just in this particular case, but the Met Police too. Lots of reporting around whether they are doing a good enough job. I mean, let's just take a quick look at the Sun's front page, because that is the story there. Nicola, stained glove found. I mean, it was discovered by passers-by. It was passed on to the police. But Sonia, are these questions about the police, are they helpful? Are they? I mean, it seems like something that's not great for society, really.
Well, I think the police are under a lot of public scrutiny at the moment, and quite rightly so. First of all, when you've got a very high-profile case like this, you're always going to have journalists and members of the public asking, are the police exploring all possible avenues? And I think that's fine. Some people might call it armchair policing. Cressida Dick, the former Met Commissioner, has criticised the public for what she calls armchair policing in the past. But actually, that's kind of part of the compact that we have in society. The police by consent. We, as members of the public, are allowed to ask difficult questions. So you've got cases like this, and you've also got what you mentioned, Kate, which is, you know, there are a lot of police forces that have been found to have fallen short very seriously, including the Met Police, the country's biggest police force, around things like cultures around racism, misogyny, for example, institutional homophobia. So, you know, that's not... There are lots of very, very decent police officers in this country, that goes without saying. But I think that there have been some big institutional failings, and the public are right to be asking questions.
And Matthew...